Yes, yes, yes. It's Raphael Dawkins with a Combat Radio. And why do I let people talk me into these things? I was just about getting ready for my gym jams. And I was in the secret place, the secret society. Stopped by, and somebody said, Rafi, have you seen this? I said, have you seen what? I said, this. Tyson Fury. The Tyson Fury situation. Have you seen it? I said, yeah. Yeah, I've seen it. Have you done a video? I said, no, I haven't done a video. Well, actually, I did do a video. It was some 3 months prior. And he said, Rafi, go live, press the red button. I said, well, I was hearing voices saying, go live, Rafi, go live. You got to talk about it. It's tricky. It's awkward. We can't shirk our responsibilities to discuss the tricky matters of the day. And so, without much further ado, we're going to try to unravel this thing, try to pick the threads. Hold on, where's that picture? Didn't I bring a picture up? Why am I not sharing the picture? What's going on? Can somebody please tell me what's going on? Okay, let's adjust that. Do not adjust your sets. Boom, boom, boom. Where we at? Okay, so there you have it. Well, I best introduce the topic for those who don't know. Those who have. Come on, let's work. Work with me. Boom. Okay, so you should be seeing what I'm seeing. Do you see what I see? I think you do. Tyson heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury leads chanting protesters on a march through Morecambe, claiming racist local pubs are banning travelers, and demands the Prime Minister visit his hometown to see for himself. So, Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury, is requesting that the Prime Minister visit his hometown to see the misjustice which is taking place at the moment. Never mind, it'll wash out. So Tyson Fury had some things to say about Anthony Joshua when he was marching for BLM, and now Tyson Fury is marching for the newly founded TLM, Travelers Lives Matter. Okay. And this is with regards to drinking rights. This isn't about anybody getting choked out in the streets by the police. This is about rights to drink in a pub or certain pubs which have banned members of the traveling community or travelers in general in Tyson Fury's new chosen hometown of Morecambe. Of course, he's originally a Manchester lad. But anyway, without much further ado, what we're saying in the chat, be primed and ready to go. Okay, so what we got here? James Jameson up in the building. Lisa Bayliss up in the building. Bales. Keep on saying Bayliss. Good to have you guys. Ladies. Any licensed premises has a right to refuse whosoever, equals, including travelers. Travelers, it is what it is. Uh-oh. There you go. I guess now is the perfect time to start a movement. Why not? Why not indeed? Okay, so we're going for a few minutes of warm-in video, and then we're going to come back with the story. Tyson Fury. Okay.
Been either taken out of context or people found themselves offended Recently, Anthony Joshua found him in that very hot seat, and it's made people feel some type of way. Did you see the video? And if so, did you feel offended?
I saw the video. What it is with it is I'm not one of those people who jump on bandwagons and try and jump on it. Like, I'm not one of those people who's just so much trending, jump in on it. Sure. I don't follow the crowd. I sit away from the crowd. I'm a standalone wolf, standalone Joe Iron. So I don't just jump on something because, oh, it's in fashion to talk about that person or give that person stick because everybody else is. You know, or might get some social media likes if I post a certain video. Listen, everyone does what they got to do. I'm sure AJ's got his reasons why he said what he said. And his concern is none of my business what he said. That's his own opinions, and everyone to their own opinions. It's one of those things. I'm sure everyone's got their own opinions on every single thing. No one agrees on different things at the same time. So whatever his reasons were, he's done it, and it's in the past, so moved on. I'm sure he's apologised if he's offended anybody. He actually did he? He actually said if you didn't like what I said, go yourself. So yeah, no apology necessary. But let's just say, I'm not pushing knives in or kicking anybody when they're down, but if it would have been me who said it, don't shop in any black-owned stores or any Asian-owned stores or anything. Or don't buy it from their businesses. Then I'd have been crucified like Jesus Christ. If it would have been me who said it, don't shop in any black-owned stores or any Asian-owned stores or anything. Or don't buy it from their businesses. Then I'd have been crucified like Jesus Christ.
Okay, the interview has not stopped, but that was the big first. That was inaccurate. Just boom, boom, boom. Okay, so I don't think I need to go any further. People are populated the area. People are up in here. What we're doing now? Okay, let's drop that down. Stop. Do we stop sharing that? We could let that go in the background. What the hell's going on? What am I thinking? Come on, let's think outside the box. Yeah, let that play. Let it play. On silent. Okay, so where are we? First things first, let me drop this link in the comment section, and I'll get to the rest of the comments, and then we get deep. Then we gonna go deep into this shiznix. Okay, let's get this better. Oh, better for you. Let's go. Okay, so heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury leads chanting protesters on a march through Morecambe, claiming racist local pubs are banning travelers, and demands that the Prime Minister visit his hometown to see the atrocity for himself. Okay, so Tyson Fury filmed himself and travelers marching through Morecambe. The WBC heavyweight champion demanded Prime Minister Boris Johnson see for himself. You need to come to Morecambe and out the racists, he told the Prime Minister. Fury is proud of his heritage and fights under the moniker the Gypsy King. Okay. So that's it in a nutshell. The 32-year-old posted the video. Yep. There's the video. We're gonna have to have a look at that in a second. What else we got there? Okay. Yeah. There's the dyed beard. I don't know what's going on. Don't know why he's dyeing his beard. I don't know what that's all about. What is this? Is this a video too? Damn. Almost. That kind of startled me just a little bit. Who we got in here? We got James. James. What's going on, James? What's happening?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm very good, very good.
Excellent. Stick around. I'm just gonna finish up. The article, and then we're gonna chat about it. Okay, you're good with that?
Yep, good with that.
Excellent. Okay, so in the video, Fury says, "I call out the Prime Minister. Where are you? You need to come to Morecambe and out the racists. Boris, where are you, Boris? It's not okay to be racist to travelers. It's not acceptable. The video shows protesters chanting, "Travelers' lives matter," and wearing t-shirts and carrying banners emblazoned with the message TLM for everyone. Damn, what's that? We heard another pop. What's going on? Who's this? I don't know. T-Dog Boxing, never heard of you, mate. Never heard of you. Write something in the chat. Write something in the chat. And then we'll get back to you. So go ahead, T-Dog Boxing, write something in the chat and we'll get back to you. Okay, so let's get back into the article for a couple more minutes and then we'll tear into it. Let's get into it. We'll get into the heart of it. Let's try and find out, disseminate, just pick the threads apart and see what we got. Travel Heritage, I'm here in Lancaster. Okay, this is a protest going on. Travelers' lives matter. There shouldn't be racism towards travelers in 2020. Okay, there we see the Gypsy King with the WBC cap on. Okay. Leading them to different pubs. So this caption says, Fury appeared to be at the front of the crowd of people leading them to different pubs. Okay, so apparently the travelers have problems with multiple different pubs. Number of pubs around the area. There he's again. Okay, and that's what he did to the Bronze Bomber. Okay, so what else is that? Okay, so that's it from top to bottom. And then, okay, there's some of the protesters. Okay, and just to remind everybody, this is about travelers, aka gypsies, in Morecambe, where Tyson Fury currently lives with his family, not being allowed into pubs, the local pubs. They've been barred from the local pubs. Okay, so I'm worried about the volume. Where's the volume on this? Okay. Good.
So here I am, here in Lancaster. There is a protest going on. Travelers' life matters. We shouldn't be racist towards travellers in 2020. So now we're going to the next racist pub. This is the next racist pub in Morecambe, Lancaster. And William Mitchell, these don't allow travellers to enter. And here we are again, outside protesting. Say two. I call out the Prime Minister. Where are you? You need to come to Morecambe and sound out the racist. Boris, where are you, Boris? It's not okay to be racist for travellers. It's not acceptable.
Okay, so that was the article, that was the video. Let me make sure my video levels are appropriate. Okay. Yeah, okay, so T-Dog Boxing, never heard of you, my friend. You never been here before. I have no idea who you are. So you know, I have to err on the side of caution. Show up a couple times and let yourself be known, and then jump on. Okay, but in the meantime, let's have a look. Let's have a look at what's going on in the chat. Then I'll get talking to James. Okay, James says TLM, Travelers Lives Matter. Dr. Woodok up in the building. Who else we got? We got Robert Brown. I thought all lives matter. Okay, what makes you what has happened? What has happened in between writing that and now? What do you mean you thought? You mean you thought in the past tense, but you don't anymore? If you could shed some light on that. You thought in the past tense. What's changed your mind? James Jameson says not getting in a boozer is not an atrocity. Well, it's kind of different to having someone's life extinguished in front of bystanders. It's a little bit different. Is it a little bit different? I think it's a little bit different. James, talk to me.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, James, talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point that he's making, because this is the same as segregation, which America had 50 years ago, as they couldn't, or whatever it was. I don't really know if it's 50 years ago, but when it was about, they couldn't get to some places. This is the same thing. So what they're saying is travelers can't get into pubs just because who they are. That's literally a definition of racism.
Right. Travelers can't get into pubs because of who they are. Cal L up in the building. Who else we got? Michael J. White. What's this guy say? I want to talk about how BFTB destroyed you. OMG. Well, I'm afraid, my dear fellow, if you simply go into my channel and write in Raphael Dawkins and BFTB, put those two words together, or those combination of words together, and you will find a whole slew of me dismantling your boy BFTB, limb by limb. You know what I mean? And that, my friend, is the reality. And in comes the Grand Duke. The Grand Duke. Better known as EJ Boxing.
Yeah, take a bow. I'm taking a bow for everyone. Yeah, you get me. I've just entered stage, and so let's get this in the butt, right?
Hold on a second.
Now,
hold on a second, DJ. Let James just finish up what he's saying, then I'll go to you.
All right.
No, I'll let EJ.
All right, let EJ go then. EJ. He's deferred. He's deferred to the Grand Duke. He knows that rank matters. So James has respectfully deferred to the Grand Duke.
What was James's point?
He hadn't made it yet. He was just starting.
Nah. He did say something. He said it was equal to something. I was listening to it. Would say it again, James?
James dropped off for a second, but
yeah. Exactly.
Oh, he's come back. He's back. Right. Don't worry.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all right. You're back now. Yeah,
make your point. Make your point, James. Go ahead.
No, I think that's literally what segregation is. You're keeping one race out or one set of people out for just because their identity. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, yellow, orange. That's literally what racism all is about, really.
Yeah, orange is not a race, in it. So let's stick to what you're saying, yeah. So when you're talking about like keeping people out, do you know the reason why they couldn't get into the pub?
Why is that?
I'm asking you.
The reason what? It's probably because they're a bit rowdy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's what the guy said. There's another video as well, yeah, where basically they've come up to him in the daytime and they said to him, "This is what's basically happened." Yeah, they've come in the daytime. There was a fight, right? And everyone knows travelers when they get drinking and get rowdy. I'm not saying it was them, but it was someone who looked like them, whatever. And the landlord's respectfully said, "I don't want you lot in the pub because you don't want to ruin the locals and them not in." So he said to them lot, said you can't come in. Now, let's go back to the saying about segregation. What you're talking about, the black people didn't cause no trouble and they didn't cause no fights. So that's not the same thing. They're basically how they look. They haven't gone in there and caused no fights. So there's a complete different thing there, right? And what Tyson Fury is, if they behave themselves, they'd be allowed in the pub. Black people wouldn't be allowed in the pub. That's for simply being black. Not even if they cause fights, not even if they had got money, not even anything. They just can't get in. It's not the same thing, right? What Tyson, nothing what Tyson Fury. If they said travelers being bullied or travelers being bullied, that wouldn't be mine. But you're using the same slogan as Black Lives Being Mad. That's why it's as a person of color, right? I find it. As a person of color, I find it offensive. You're using the same branding as Black Lives Matter when your travelers' lives to hijack the movement. When your life, really, travelers' lives not meant. They went in there and had a fight. I'm not saying it was them, but someone of one of their thing had a fight. Now, black people's lives are at risk where the cops are disproportionately stopping them and basically killing people. These people are being killed. You know, you saw someone getting killed. You'd never see a traveler with their neck or someone to pop on their neck for that long a time. You wouldn't see that. So that's why I'm offended to it. Go on, let me hear what you have to say.
But it's different is because we're in the UK. To be honest with you, America's America. That's what America's all about, you know.
But Tyson, where's Tyson Fury?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. One person at a time. So EJ, you've spoken. Now it is James's turn.
So I think we should keep it to the UK, is in the fact that America's America, different rules, different. They got completely different type of mindset over there, completely different. You can't, and I can tell you from first-hand experience that yes, for a fact, travelers have been discriminated by police in this country. For a fact.
Are they being killed? Are they being killed?
But that's not in.
Are they being killed? But that's what a lot. No, listen. Now, listen. This is what I'm saying to you. In England, black people are being killed as well. That's what I'm trying to say. This you don't understand. So when you mention the lives, the travelers' lives not at risk. You see, you're mentioning something different. This is why it's different. Yeah, and this is why. What do you mean it's not different?
White talk's a racist term. Is what you're just saying.
No, hold up. What did you say again? Say again. Say that again.
They're not being killed. Not.
Who's not? Black people not being killed in England?
No.
Black people not being killed in England. Is that what you just said?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So you don't know about the football. You don't know about the footballer. Hold up. You don't know about the footballer. He was at his house and they got the tape.
Dalian Atkinson.
Yeah, Daly Atkinson. He got tased outside by the club when the tasers just got when the tasers got allowed by the police to carry tasers. The police tased him outside his house. Yeah, I think he had a mental health problem. They tased him until he died. Do you know about that?
But all I'm saying.
I've got another one. What about that the kid in Tottenham, the light skin girl? What's the light skin kid in Tottenham where the riot started?
Duggan.
Duggan. Yeah, do you know about that situation? So what we're talking about is lives. What you're talking about is being put out because you're misbehaving.
No, EJ. All I'm talking about is
we're in England now. I'm talking about England. No, we're talking about England now.
In England.
Yeah, we're talking about England.
I can guarantee that as many white people, more white people have died than black people.
Well, tell me then. Tell me who then.
What it is just don't get reported because.
Tell me who then.
It's just trendy to talk about Black Lives.
It's trendy. There's nothing trendy about it.
Slow down.
That's why Tyson Fury is doing it, because a trend. It's all trendy, isn't it?
Okay. So let me come in here. I'm in the middle. Let me come in here. Let me adjudicate. Okay. So what I will say. At this juncture, we're carrying on, but just at this particular juncture, I just got to make some findings here. I've got to come up with some findings. Black people have died in custody. Now, James, that's EJ's argument. James's argument is that, but white folks have died as well. James's argument is white folks die in custody as well. It's just not as reported as black folks. It's more trendy. It's a trend thing to report the black folk have died when white folk have died as well. Well, I don't have the figures. But I do know that it is the general conception that police, be it in the States or in the UK, they have a greater tendency to brutalize people who they don't relate to. And as a consequence of which, I think we see higher than normal figures of brutality from the police, from the authorities towards people of a darker complexion. Yeah, and I think that is understood. And you could say, well, where's your proof, Rafi? Where's your proof? Okay, well, I will point you in the direction of Lord Scarman, who, after the Stephen Lawrence case, did an investigation and found there to be, what's the term he used? Systemic racism in London's metropolitan police force. And so that's coming from the highest point of the land. That's coming from a lord did an investigation into the police and found there to be systemic racism. So that there's no ambiguity about it. So I find at this particular juncture that, the systemic racism, point blank, period. We're talking about the UK now. We're not talking about America. We already know about America. We're talking about the UK. James, would you like to counter that?
I'd just like to counter that by saying that I think travelling folk it literally fall under the same banner of what you said, Rafi. They're saying like they can't compare, like the police can't. What do you say? Like idealize or whatever. Like they cannot be this because they're not the same kind of person, same kind of people. They're also getting, it's systemic. Yeah, it's the same to the same extent. I'd say.
No. We have that Lord Scarman didn't find that. Lord Scarman didn't find it.
Lord Scarman didn't look into travelling folk because there's
a lot. So he didn't say it, so he couldn't have said it.
There's a lot less travellers. There's about, probably less than 100,000 in the UK. So you're talking about a minute percentage, like a 0.5% of the population. So I think that's why it doesn't get reported on so much. It's the fact that obviously black people, there's a lot more of them. So it's definitely going to get. It's going to get more reported upon.
So what would you say? You see, if the police wanted to go into a black person's house, they're going in. Yeah. They're going in. There's no ambiguity. Yeah. But to counter what you said, I would say that if a police wants to go into a traveler's home, sometimes they just say, no, we're not going to do it because it's too dangerous. Because there's too many of them. It's in a camp. And it's too dangerous. And sometimes they don't go. There was a situation down in Loughborough. Where the locals were reporting and they were filming in their cars as they were driving past the camp, the travelers' camp down there. Stones and missiles were being hurled at their vehicles at various points of the day and night. And the locals were... So they were being assaulted, damage to vehicles, whatever the crime is. And the locals were saying, well, the police don't take action because they're, it's a manpower thing. And so what actually happens is when the police do go and knock on the door, it's some mass operation with X amount of police. It's a mass operation that has to be launched, which could take months. And in the meantime, we have locals like in Loughborough who are saying, well, what about in the meantime? Why don't you go in now? And the police saying, well, we haven't got the manpower. We have to plan it and et cetera, et cetera. So I say that's another big difference. If the police want to come into a black man's house, he's coming in. It don't take months. They're coming in.
Rafi.
Yeah.
Why do you think I like Tyson Fury so much, honestly?
I don't know.
It's because I'm obviously a traveling folk myself, yeah?
I didn't know that. Cool.
I didn't know that. That is the reason why, yeah?
Right.
Someone called the police on my cousin, yeah? Because I used to live in what you call a camp, yeah? I used to live in one myself. Yeah, and the police were called on him for something he didn't do at all.
Right.
And the riot squad come along, the whole thing, bashed his door down.
Yeah.
And arrested him because someone reported. So that's I know it's an anecdote or whatever, but I have anecdotal evidence that does happen. That they came all in, and about 4 or 5 police cars.
Yeah.
They're armed, a battering ram, bashed his door down and arrested him, and he didn't do anything wrong. So And also, Rafi,
Yeah.
let me put it this way, because I know this demographic more than most people.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury is from a different demographic than I am. Tyson Fury is an Irish traveller.
Right.
They are known as very rowdy people. That's why I said they're probably rowdy in the pubs because they're known for it.
Right. Yeah.
See, I'm from the Romany gypsies. Apparently, that's like the British gypsies. That's like,
okay.
They didn't come from Ireland. So, and that's what who's the other one? You got Tyson Fury, and the other guy he's like boxing with
Billy Joe Saunders.
He's a Romany gypsy. So
right.
That's why they're completely different. See, somewhere in my family, I'm somehow related to Billy Joe Saunders somehow.
Okay.
It's like cousin. Because we all like, because there's such a small demographic.
Yeah.
But I can tell you from first-hand experience, that yes, my family have been discriminated against just because who we are.
Right.
And it does happen, but I'm only half of one. I don't as much as I'm not like Tyson Fury, who lives in a big massive camp or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that for 100%, I can confirm that the police definitely do have a genuine bias against us. In some
well, I don't dispute that the police have a bias against travelers. I don't dispute that. What I'm saying is that there are levels, aren't there? There are levels, and there are levels. Okay, EJ boxing. What's EJ doing?
I'm eating. I'm listening.
Okay.
I disagree with what he's saying. I think he's got the terms wrong, and I think he's got the terms wrong. Yeah, you don't understand. Yeah, I'm talking about deaths. Yeah, people actually dying from the police. We've mentioned deaths already. He's not mentioning deaths. He's talking about bias. Yeah, I'm talking about killing. I'm talking about laws. You're talking about the McPherson report. That obviously there's systemic racism in the police. Yeah, and obviously because you got black people in there, the police system is still racist. It's still racist to the core. Yeah. Remember again, police in America, there's police in the UK, and they're still biased. Everyone knows. Black guys stop being stopped. Yeah, traveler get stopped, but we're talking about a man not getting in the pub. We're talking about Mark Duggan being killed. We're talking about a man get killed at his house, and Smiley Culture. For whatever reason, they still haven't reported what happened to Smiley Culture, one of the reggae artists. Yeah, the police went to his house, and they didn't know he's dead. We don't even know what happened there. You know what I'm trying to say? That happened in the traveler's house, bro. They'll burn down the police station. Travelers are not to be fucked with. That's sorry for swearing. They're not to be messed with. That's how it is. That's everyone knows that. From a young age, they're taught to fight. Yeah. And another thing as well, we can't. Me personally, if I saw a traveler, I don't know what a traveler looked like until he tells me. See, my man was just talking right now. Yeah, Jameson. Yeah. We didn't know he was a traveler until he told us, and now he's telling us travelers. Okay, cool. That makes understandable. But you got to understand, the reason why I'm upset with this thing is because you're basically you're using the same slogan and it's trying to take away for weight on. You're not dying. You just can't get into a pub. We're getting killed. And that's the difference. And that's all I got to say about it.
Okay, so that's a good point. I'll let you come in a second, James. It's kind of disparaging. It's disparaging. Well, as I'm putting it as a question. Well, no, I'm not putting it as a question. I'm saying it is disparaging. It's disparaging to people who are getting killed by the authorities for a movement to come along and kind of adopt their name. Just change one of the letters. It's kind of disparaging, and I'll tell you why. There's an argument to say it's disparaging. It's because the BLM movement came about as a result of certain atrocities that were taking place and killings. Basically, what we're talking about, killings, aren't we? We're talking about killings. So you've got an organization with the name BLM, basically one who addressing the iniquities and the killings. And then you have this slogan, TLM, addressing not killing but drinking rights. Where is it? Where I wrote it up here somewhere. Drinking rights. What does it say? Traveling, drinking lives matter. TDRM. It should be TDRM. Travelers, drinking rights matter. Wouldn't that be a better slogan? James.
No, I think the slogan is just right, really, because I think travellers have as much right to use that as any other kind of race. To be honest, I think is because what the black rights movement is all about is keeping everything fair, keeping everything.
Not keeping, trying to gain.
There we go. Trying to get everyone on the same pegging.
Okay.
It's trying to exactly. It's trying to just keep everyone with the same level of rights of everyone.
Well, no, it's trying to get the same rights as everyone. Yeah.
But I think travellers are also trying to get the same rights as everyone else. And I think that's key to it.
But they're protesting about drinking rights. If we're frank, they're protesting about drinking rights. That's what this thing's about, drinking rights.
Yeah, but drinking rights is one thing, but drinking rights can turn into other things. I think that's just that all what he's done is just highlighted the fact of the matter that he's getting discriminated against just because who he is, and that's the same thing as a black person not being allowed in the pub just because he's black. That's the same thing.
Yeah, but the BLM movement isn't about drinking rights, about living rights, about the right to live and not be killed. Whereas this is about drinking rights, as it seems to me. That's just how it looks like to me. It looks like it's about drinking rights. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that it looks like it's about drinking rights. Yeah.
I think in the video, he obviously just highlighted something that he could show firsthand. But I guess it's a matter of seeing if he goes further with it and highlighting more the atrocities that happen against the traveling culture.
Okay, so let's
bring it on themselves, mate. A lot of them bring it on themselves, by fighting. And it's not like it's innocent. If it was innocent, that traveler guy went into the pub and someone attacked him. This is me supporting it, right? They went into the pub, and there was some guy said, obviously they call them names like Pikey, whatever. No, that's racist name, Well, get out of here, and they beat them up and kicked them out the pub. And then that was it, and they protested that our piece well supported. That's out of order. But that's not what happened, bro. Them man had a fight a couple of weeks ago, and the pub man out of thing, no one to get rid of his regular, so you can't come into the pub. So when they got there, and then the thing is, they went down the road to another pub. The man said the same thing. They don't want you coming into the pub and causing trouble, causing strife. Now listen, I'm sure the pub man at some point, because we're getting a lot of exposure, say, look, if you behave yourself, we let you in the pub to make sure you behave yourself. That's all. And then what's their movement? Where the movement going in there? That's the movement. There's no other move. There's not even really a movement. And another thing as well, they're not a race, they're an ethnic group, innit? You know what I mean? They're not ethnic. You know what I'm saying? Because travelers is full of many people. Romanian, like you said, English and Irish. It's full of men. It's not like, you know what I mean? You really and truly, you wouldn't even tell a traveler. I know what a gypsy looks like. Do you know the gypsies from Romania? You know what they look like, bro. So what I'm saying to you is that it's bullshit, It's bullshit. You're taking the piss, and that's what I'm saying as, and as simple as that. And there's no way to about it. I'm not even playing around with it. He's taking the piss.
EJ, you know when you sign like the census form, or whatever, and you say your culture, you probably say black British, don't you? You know, there's another one on there. It says black. It says white. Should I say? It says white traveler. So that comes on the same. It's the same umbrella as that, because being a traveler is pretty much a race. It's classed as like a race. You're a different kind of people. You're a group of people, a very small, minute people. That's the difference, though. You talk about a population of a tiny population that just doesn't get an exposure because how small they are. That's the difference. That's what I think the difference is. It's such a tiny, minute amount of people that no one's had exposure to it, and that's why.
If they let them in the pub, they're gonna beat up the pub. The pub man's worried about. We go in the pub, they can destroy his furniture. When you talk about black people, right, going to the pubs, and back in the days, because obviously my boxing club I'm from, is in Ladbroke Grove, the founder, Mr. Akai, started a boxing club because when he brought his sons, and his sons became British and Commonwealth champions in the pro level, his son, Mr. Akai's son, TJ, fought Evander Holyfield in amateurs. Now, none of that would have happened, if Mr. Akai didn't put his own money and forked out his money and bought his own gym. And that became one of the popular gyms in London, None of the white clubs wanted him in there. That's what you call it. That's racism. He didn't just sit there and say, "Oh, you're not letting me in." He said, "I can help you with my own thing." Same thing with the pub. They won't let you in. Go to another pub. That's all it is. That's not. You don't understand. That's prejudice. It's not racism. We're talking about people being killed, bro. And then if you don't understand that, I don't know what to say to you, bro.
I don't see a difference of it, to be honest. I think racism is racism, and racism in amongst itself, it causes the same things. All the difference is, I think, that you've seen one video and you're generalizing the whole population. You're saying that if one pikey gets in there, that he's going to destroy the whole pub. That's what you're saying. You're saying all pikeys are the same. You're saying that one.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying what the pub man said. I'm saying what the landlord said. The landlord said that. The landlord said that. Have you seen a video? Have you seen a video?
I don't need to see no videos, honestly.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm telling you, but obviously you don't. When I'm telling you what happened, didn't it? The Tyson Fury, yeah, in the daytime, before they done the protesting, they went up to the guy, and the bouncer wouldn't let them in. They go, "Why are we getting them in?" Well, there were some arguments a couple of weeks ago, and we're not letting you in. He goes, "It's not my thing. It's the landlord said you're not allowed in." He goes, "Why?" And then he goes, "What? If it was black and that happened, would you not let blacks?" And a couple of hours later, then they rallied up what t-shirts and they came down to the pub. So that's what's happened. Don't put words into my mouth. I told you what the landlord said. Landlord told the bouncer to tell them they're not letting them in because how they conducted themselves. That's the reason why they got in. It's not like they just made up a rule so you just can't come in. They said it because the way they conducted themselves. Now, black people, and in a different situation, it's not because you conduct yourself. We're not letting you in because of the way you look. That's it.
So EJ, honestly. So if I went up into that pub, yeah, would I get in?
You damn right you'd get in.
I'd get in, exactly.
You didn't tell us you was a traveller until you just told us. I mean, what really and truly? What?
Have you ever said to me that you're a black person? Have you ever needed to say that?
What are you getting at? What's your point?
That's the same thing you just said to me. You said you've never told him.
I didn't beat up. No, I didn't get into a fight, bro.
No, hold on. No, there's a key point here. There's a very key point here, because James, potential key point, because James, EJ just said to you, James, that he wouldn't have known that you were a traveler unless you told him. But James, you immediately knew that EJ was black. So the question is it a question of how one? Okay, let's cut to the chase. So there are a number of drinking establishments that are okay. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of one drinking establishment that it's not just a drinking establishment, but it's also an eatery. And when there's a piece of land across the way from this eatery, and whenever every few months, you will have some travelers who will break into that piece of land, and they will occupy it until the paperwork, the owner comes up with the paperwork, hands that to the council, and then gets a move on. Now that normally takes a matter of weeks, a couple of weeks, for that process and to go through and for them to be moved on. Now, what the eatery has to do, what the bar has to do, is they have to hire security staff to manage the problems that come along whenever travelers come around. So now it costs the business extra money. Now, also what happens is that there is an increased level of crime when these people come to town. And indeed, in the bar itself, in the eatery, people try to eat for free because it's a ticket thing, and they pretend they got a ticket when they don't got a ticket, etc., etc. So do you think that establishment that I'm speaking of has a right to bar travelers? James?
I don't think so. I think you can ban a person. I think you can ban, if I punch someone in a pub, I think you can ban me. You can't ban someone because of their race or culture.
No. Do you think that with the increased incidences of crime out within the establishment when the travelers come, perpetrated by travelers, do you think that establishment would have a right to ban travelers?
Like I just said, I think they have to do it on an individual basis to then keep
Well, it's groups committing the crimes.
Yeah. So if there's 5 people in the group and 5 people commit then crimes, then 5 people get banned.
Okay. And if you can't identify which ones in the group are doing the crime, would it make sense to ban the group as a whole?
Rafi, then you're talking about like being racist, but then saying no one can come in of that race. You're saying I can't go into that pub just because who I am. That's racist.
Well, no. I mean, you're saying no one from that group can come in. That particular group.
I thought you meant ethnic. Well, maybe the whole group because they're obviously causing a ruckus. You know.
Right.
If you've got someone from a tower flats, a whole block of tower flats or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're causing an absolute ruckus in the pub
Yeah.
might ban the whole scene. No one from over there, that flat, you can't come in because
Right.
you're like that.
Right.
That's the
Right.
same thing. Of course they can do that because that's just like the same thing in it. That's
Okay, it's the same thing. So it's a group thing. So what I'm saying to you is this particular establishment, and I'm using one particular establishment, but it's not one particular establishment. This is happening all over the country. So each time, and I'm talking actual facts now, each time travelers come and break in to the factory car park across the road, the same thing is replicated. So you get this particular group come who identify as travelers, in caravans, etc. Break in to the car park across the road, come over to the eatery. It's a ticket system. So yeah, I've already got a ticket. Show a ticket. No, I lost my ticket. So basically committing crimes, not paying, but they let them in. They're just getting increased security. So, but really and truly, as we've just outlined, they would be perfectly legal to ban those groups who break in across the road and then come over the road and commit crimes. If someone is committing a crime or crimes,
they get arrested, and that's what the ETR should do. They should arrest, and then they should get the police involved. They shouldn't ban a whole race because when they're saying no travelers, they're banning a whole race, not just a group. That you can say no one from that group can come over, but then you're banning a whole race, which is then you can't.
Are travelers a race?
Travelers is a race. It's a culture, which is a race.
Is that a culture is a race? Let me have a look at that. What is a race? We need to find out. I get some messages get withheld. They're quite funny. It's quite funny how some people just love to troll, but it's cool. What is?
See, it comes under race because race means color, nationality, ethnic origin, or national origin. So
we're gonna get into this. Origin. We're gonna get into this shiznix. Oh gosh, what is a race? They're talking about running.
I've got it here, Rafi. It says the courts have said that Romy gypsies and Irish travellers are protected against the race discrimination because they're an ethnic groups under the Equality Act. So they come under the same umbrella term as any other kind of race or culture or ethnic group.
What is the biological definition of race? A distinct population that is isolated in a particular area from other populations. That's not a good definition. What is race? Simple words. The term race or racial group refers to dividing the human species into groups. The most widely used human racial types are those based on visual traits such as skin color, cranial, facial features, or type of hair. So gypsies on that basis, going by that definition, gypsies just look white generally, do they not?
No, it said typically. But if you go back to the first one that you said like a group of people that are what would you say, like
a distinct population that is isolated.
They're definitely distinct. They're definitely isolated because they're all in camps or traveling. So I think they meet all the things, and I've literally got it here. Like she says like we're covered by the Equality Act because they're a part of an ethnic origin, and like I say,
because what it's covered by what?
They're an ethnic origin and they're part of the Equality Act. of like,
they are an ethnic what?
Origin.
They are an ethnic origin.
Yep.
It doesn't say that, does it? It doesn't
No.
read that. Those are not the words. Because that sentence sounds tricky. What is the actual sentence? What does it say?
So the whole thing is, it says the Equality Act is an unlawful discrimination if you're treated unfairly because of certain reasons. These reasons are called protected characteristics. Race is one of the protected characteristics under the Equality Act. It's a race discrimination if you're treated unfairly because of the one of the following things: color, nationality, ethnic origin, or national origin. And it's got highlighted ethnic origin because some gypsies and travellers are protected against discrimination on the basis of their ethnic origins.
What is the ethnic origin of the gypsy?
It's of the gypsy, isn't it? A gypsy is a
No. The ethnic origin. What is the ethnic?
The ethnic origin of a gypsy is being a gypsy. You can only be a gypsy if you're born into it. So you cannot become a gypsy, Rafi.
Okay.
So it's the same as I cannot become a black person because I'm not black, or I cannot become a Chinese person because I'm not from China. It's the same thing. I'm only half a traveller, but that's still I'm still, it's just like if someone was half a black person, they're still classed as a black person or mixed race. So it's the same kind of thing, innit?
the one drop rule. That's less prevalent today, I think. Okay. Let me get through these comments. EJ, jump in when you want to. Sorry, should I say Grand Duke? Excuse me. Let's get through some of these comments. Okay, I'm not going to get through all of these comments. Some of them are a bit spicy. Where are we?
See, Rafi, look, you can see discrimination in the chat right now. You can see that, like,
discrimination. Can I?
You can see Obs is saying they are not a race. That's discrimination because I just showed they are a race.
Are they a race? Are gypsies a race? There might be. I mean, to me, they just look like white people, or if it's the Romanian ones, they look slightly Asian, but they look white to me.
Gypsies, they do dress differently and they live differently because they live in mobile homes or caravans, whatever, in camps. So they're separated. They have jobs. They all have the same jobs. Either like treeman, scrapman, they're a roofer, they're a paver. They have their own, like, so it's the whole culture around that, Rafi. It's not just like that. There is a whole. They do. If you honestly, if I told you 4 things to look out in a person to see if there's a traveller, you'd get 100 over 100.
Really? What are the 4 things?
The 4 things are, you got to look out for the accent. So like Billy Joe Saunders has the perfect accent. So if you look out for the accent, the dress, if you ever see him in like kind of a farm, there's like a farmer outfit, or like a lot of times like Ford Transits, anything like that. And like if you live in a camp, like a traveling camp, you're definitely a traveller. If you travel, if you're traveling up or down in a caravan, that's another trait. And I like they even wear like jewelry. So travellers wear lots of gold jewelry. That's just a culture. So that's another one. You got like even like barber coats. Barber coats are very associated with travellers. Every single one has a barber coat. So
by your description, you sound like Jimmy Saddle, mate. Like let me tell you something, yeah. Like, brother, see what your description is, yeah. No one knows what a traveler. No one knows what a traveler. Like I don't even know you as a traveler. Unless someone told you a traveler, no one knows, innit? And third, I don't think we're gonna agree on this, yeah. So it's not. I'm not even gonna say we disagree. We just don't see eye to eye. You have your Tyson Fury fan, and that's your guy. You're riding with him, and that's what it comes across. Now, me on the other side of it, yeah, I'm not even a political guy, activist, even like that. And it's not like Black Lives Matter is really that important to me. I just don't like the idea you're swagger jacking another movement. Yeah, there's a lot of things that black people have created in the world. Yeah, I don't know if you know about the monkey wrench that was created by Jack Johnson, and even the traffic lights were created by black people. But some people would never know that, right? Because obviously white people obviously took over their ventures, and this is another situation where it's not the same name, but you just change the first letter. The boxing voice itself, yeah, used to have another co-owner. All Nez did is just change the bloody until THE, he changed it to a THA. You know what I mean? And obviously it's took over. So what I'm saying is that I don't like it. I don't like what he's doing. You know what I mean? Tyson Fury, I've met him, I've chatted to him, I've interviewed him. He's a fun-loving guy and it's fun. But on this one, I don't really like it, and I object to what he's doing. And that's all I gotta say to it. And then that's more, you know what I mean? Respectfully, I don't like what he's doing. Rafi, you know what I mean? It's a good show. You're a good show. You know, let me on in that. Jameson, he sounds like a decent guy. You get me? And obviously, you know, he's backing his guy, and that's all it is. You know what I mean? Like, I really come to the conclusion, especially as I get older, that you're not really gonna agree with a lot of people, but you just hear everyone out. So it's just one of them ones there. I just disagree with Jameson's point of view, and that's all I can say. Thanks for letting me come, Rafi. I'm out of it.
100,
Yeah,
100. That's the grand, the Grand Duke, EJ, the Grand Duke. Okay, so where are we now? I'm going to get through these. I'm going to get through these comments. It's not going to be a long thing. We've already been going for an hour. We got about another 10 minutes to go, I think. I've got the video in question about the discussion with the security explaining why they weren't going to let travelers in, and I'll play that in a few minutes. But first things first, you know, I like to hear what people have to say. So let's have a look. Let's have a little looky. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Big facts. Remember the old man who killed Henry. Remember the old man who killed Henry Vincent, who was burgling his house a couple of years. That was about 10 years ago. That was probably 20 years ago. The travelers gave him death threats. Now the old man is in hiding. Oh, you're probably talking about a different one. I'm talking about one long time ago before that. Yeah. An Englishman's home is his castle. If you step over the threshold uninvited with intent to, you know, cause some theft or harm of some description, then, hey, James, if somebody comes on your property armed, do you have the right to strike them?
I'm not sure what the rules are in this country, but I personally think you would. If someone come with a shotgun in my land, I don't know what I'd do. I think I'd have to try and protect myself, protect my family.
Yeah,
like anyone should have.
Yeah. One of my good mates is a traveler. He's one of the best people I know. He's also the biggest idiot I know. Okay. Jay Breezy up in the building. AOBZ says they are not a race. They are a culture. I do believe them to be a culture. Traveler culture. Traveler's a culture. A traveler can come out of the caravan, take his gold off, dress differently, and
but he's still carry the accent.
He's not a traveler. Yeah. Okay. Well, he can lose the accent over 10 years, maybe. And is he still a traveler?
He's still a traveler by blood, though, Rafi. He's born
by blood.
Born into it.
By blood.
By blood.
By blood. But somebody who's full traveler, full-blooded traveler, leaves a caravan, lives in a house, dresses differently. Is he still a traveler?
I suppose that's basically me then, Rafi.
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't know you had any traveler connections.
Yeah, well, basically, my dad's a full traveler, but
okay.
But so my mum isn't. But I don't carry the accent or anything.
Right.
And maybe I do. I don't know. That's the whole thing. I can't really say that for myself, but
no.
I suppose like I lived in more like a gated community, so it was when I lived in a traveling camp for like 16 years of my life, so it was only just my family. All my family were travelers, but I'll tell you, like, once you're born into it, Rafi, you can lose it. It's
Okay, it's a deeper thing than just the way a person looks. Okay, and that's why I say it's a culture. That's why I say it's a cultural thing.
There's food to it, Rafi. Honestly,
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. There's food. There's tradition.
There's even a fair. There's there's fairs around. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, it's a big thing. The Horsebury Fair or wherever it is. It's a big culture. It's a massive culture. I mean, it's rich in culture. It's rich in culture. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I want to get through these comments just because they passed a law. You see, it's interesting because that's why I did the show, because it's, there's a lot to say. There's a lot of people. It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic because people have very diverse views of what is a traveler, or their culture. I see them as a culture rather than a race. That's not to diminish them, because culture is deep. But that's how I tend to see. But I hear what you're saying also. They are not distinct in appearance. Put the clothes aside. Put everybody in a hospital gown. Clothes aside. Don't speak. And a traveler look pretty much like a white man if he's a European traveler. If he's a traveler from Romani traveler, maybe, or you got travelers from India who settled in different countries along the way, Romania, etc. But I think travelers originated from India.
I think it's heavily disputed. No one really knows where they come from, to be honest.
Okay.
I can say that myself.
Okay, that's cool. That's just what I've read.
Yeah, I think
but it's probably different strands of travelers. So you got the European traveler and the travelers who originated from India. And those a lot of them we see with the darker color skin, darker than white.
But a lot of travelers do have a kind of darker skin,
more swarthy.
Yeah,
I guess that's the term. If you had a lineup of Gypsy and English, you see, that's what I was saying. Take the clothes off, put everybody in hospital gowns, and it would be hard to distinguish. But I hear what you're saying.
With a Russian person, if you saw someone from a proper Russian person who's as white as anything, you couldn't tell a difference, could you? But
no,
they're completely different, aren't they?
Different culture again, yeah. We see that's culture again. It comes down to culture again. Different culture, even the way they interact, the tone of voice, different culture again. Your people from the Baltic, they have a different way about them. I heard a story that there was an article in Poland saying that a lot of Polish people find it very difficult to adjust to England because people are so friendly. I didn't see that with my own two eyes. I just heard that. So there you go. Culture again. You know what I'm saying? Different ways of doing things. Okay. So travelers ain't a race. You are white. Bitcoin Boxing says a gypsy stands out. Different views once again. So what? You are a white person in a caravan.
So there we go. I got there's the full thing there, Rafi. It said
what's the full thing?
The act. I did it in the private chat.
Oh,
there's the full thing to it.
Oh, okay. So Romani gypsies and Irish travelers are legally recognized as ethnic groups and protected from discrimination by the Race Relations Act 1976. Okay, that's interesting. Amended in 2000 and the Human Rights Act. That's interesting. Romani gypsies and Irish travelers are legally recognized as ethnic groups. Ethnic groups, okay. And protected from discrimination by the Race Relations Act 1976. That's interesting. That is very interesting. What's going on? Matt McCarthy say hello to Rick. Okay, that's Matt McCarthy. I certainly shall. Well, you can say hello to him yourself every Wednesday right here on Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share my shizzle, and let's fertilize the earth. Okay, so what we're looking at here. Let's read it before I show it. Okay, So I've a friend from an Irish traveler's background. He's a successful builder, keeps his background quiet as he fears discrimination. Can you relate to that, James?
See, Rafi, and another thing that I haven't said that I was a traveler. I haven't said it because I ain't said it a lot of times because honestly, I get discrimination about it. You hear it all the time. If I say I'm a traveler to someone, I get called a pikey. No, and that's equivalent to someone saying an N-word to somebody. That's the same.
Really, a pikey? Are you sure?
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same.
Really?
It's a derogatory term called to a set of people
Yeah.
to make him to just categorize them as that and make him feel
So,
bad.
if somebody called you a pikey, it would be a grave insult.
I don't. I see it. It is a grave insult, really, and because you're calling me something that I don't like being. None of us like being cool.
Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
That's why the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, doesn't call himself the Pikey King.
Well, hold on. Isn't gypsy a derogatory term?
No, that's what their class does.
No, but some people, some travelers say gypsy is a derogatory term, though. That's why they call themselves travelers and not gypsies, because they used to be called gypsies, now they call themselves travelers.
I think travelers is a word to incorporate anybody. So if you're a traveling folk, because what happened was there's a lot of people. As my great granddad told me, he said there's a lot of people back in the day that wanted to be gypsies, so they travelled with gypsies and called themselves travelling folk. So a traveller is not a gypsy. A gypsy is something you born into. A traveller is something that is like someone that can just join and be called a traveller. A traveller is different than me, a gypsy.
I hear you. Okay, so
there's a lot to it, Rafi.
Well, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. But the bottom line is that if you another element of this thing is okay, I'll say it. Let's talk about uncontrollable kids.
Yeah.
Is there a greater? I know. I have the answer. I have my answer. Is there a greater preponderance of unruly kids in public establishments if they are gypsy? Is that the case?
I think that's part of definitely the Irish culture, but I know in my culture, and like my parents always dressed me in like the best clothes, and all my cousins, everyone's, and you supposed to keep yourself to yourself. Like my nan used to say, seen, not heard. Very, very much like that. So it's very much the other way. But Irish culture is completely different. They're the fighting ones. They're so much like it's completely different.
We're talking about unruly kids here.
Yeah, I'd say it's more towards the Irish travelers, and the Irish gypsies are more the unruly kids.
What is the because that's an issue in pubs and in establishments, where pubs and establishments say there is a lack of discipline, which makes the kids socially disruptive in their establishments. And if that is the case, do these establishments have a right of refusal?
Well, of course, like I say, to an individual basis, but I think a lot of it towards that is just because a lot of travelers they don't send their kids to school, so you'll find that you have a lot of these kids that are like 12 years old and they go to school, so they have to find something to do in it, fill their days with something. So, and of course, you got the father goes out and works. He does the full 8-hour shift or whatever. And that's why you have like a lot of times the women they go and speak or whatever and do something. So you have the kids all together, and you have to find something to do. And I think that's why they have that kind of stigma about being uncontrolled. But I think that's the same thing as saying like there's a stigma around black kids carrying knives. It may be it's just a stigma. I've known people from college when I went there, white kids with 12-inch blades, these carrying.
Yeah. But we're not talking about stigmas. We're talking about actual establishments saying no, the kids are out of control.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying. I'm related to. I think it's just a stigma. I think
No, but yeah. So I'm asking you: are you saying it's just a stigma, or is it an actual reality?
I think it's a reality because all stigma, there's always truth behind these stigmas. There has to be. That's why they come about, and I think that's the.
Well, if it's a reality, then it's not a stigma, then is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's that there's always a reality from any kind
No,
of.
so I'm saying specifically because you brought in the word stigma. What I'm saying, I asked you if there was some basis to that, and I think you're either saying yes or you're saying no. The basis about people not wanting unruly kids on their establishment. Is that true or false in your opinion?
Yeah, I'd say it's true, isn't it? Because like I say that they're out of school a lot of the times and they've got nothing to do, so they just cause trouble. Kids be kids; they do what they want, don't they?
So if they cause trouble, then does the establishment not have the right to say sorry? Nah, we can't have this ill behavior on here.
Yeah, get rid of him.
Well, then, boom. I mean, so ultimately, I think what we're saying is up and down the country, we have situations where in closing time, we have situations whereby landlords are saying that these people don't respect closing time. They think it's just closing time is not even a real thing. It's just, we just keep on singing and keep on going back to the bar even though it's closed. And then you have this thing with intimidation. Oh yeah, we told them it's closed, but they won't accept it. Oh, call the police. Oh, the police can't be here till another hour. Serve them another drink. So I think what I'm saying is that you can't, or we can't, pretend as if there's not an issue with the drinking establishment and travelers. There are a number of issues. It appears, according to the landlord. There's the kids, unruly kids, which you just explained very eloquently why they would be that way. And there's also the non-recognition of closing time. So we'll just serve us another one and we'll be gone. Just serve us another one and we'll be gone.
I think it's just like it's a lot of it's just individuals. You get like the wrong-uns as you're doing any kind of people. You get the wrong-uns. And like I say, personally from who I know, my people, my family, I guess, and the people I know, my friends, we've always been. You always got to be, you always want to respect the rules. But honestly, I can tell you this right now, Irish travellers, mate. Honestly, you don't mess with them. And we there's two completely different kind of cultures, Romany and they got Irish. Irish travellers are known for it. They're completely different. They're the ones that come over from Ireland and they cause an absolute raucous. That a lot of them keep the accent as well. Like they might be fifth generation England. Honestly, they might be fifth generation England, and they sound like they're from Ireland.
Yeah.
I'd say you could say that with terrorists. You could say just because a terrorist blew someone up, it's not the whole race, is it? A few individuals called a problem. It's not the whole group of people, is it?
That's your counter argument. You just called OBZ is saying that you just called travelers pikeys 10 minutes ago. Or 20 minutes ago by now. James is addressing that to you.
That's probably because I was saying like difference between travelling folk and pikeys. Well, pikey as well is meant to be an Irish traveller, so I wouldn't be called a pikey. Call me a pikey, it doesn't really matter anyway because I'm not an Irish traveller. Travellers nowadays are mostly gypsies, so that's why I identify as travellers. But like I say, a traveller that was also a thing back in the day of other people trying to be a culture vulture and steal our culture.
Travelers, people trying to pretend to be travelers.
Yeah, fully.
Why? What's the benefit of that?
My great granddad said it's because with lots of benefits. You travel around the country. You don't you just work a few days. You know, you go out with your mates. It's a good culture in a lot of ways, and it's a very tight knit culture, and that's why. And like I say, and that's why like they got distinct as being called a traveller or trying to join that group is because like they're being a culture vulture is the new way to put it in it.
Culture vulture, and I think the term culture vulture here is being used towards the travelers taking on the Black Lives Matter moniker, and I think the suggestion is they're making a mockery of it.
I think if anyone says that, I think that's quite disgraceful, to be honest.
Well, how would it be disgraceful if people are saying that ultimately what we're looking at here is drinking rights? What BLM is looking at is the right to actually live.
But that's what I like though, Rafi. I think it's disgraceful, but someone else might think it different. And
what's disgraceful?
No, but like as you say about like culture vulture and travelers,
yeah,
that like it's a lot of it's just free speech, and this is the problem. We don't have enough free speech in a lot of ways.
We don't have enough. Is that what you said?
A lot of it's muted, doesn't it? A lot of free speech gets muted, but that's the travelers because there's such a minute population. A lot of you do get a lot of hate, and a lot of it seeps through just the fact they're so small. They're such a tiny population of people.
How does that affect what we're talking about in terms of people thinking that people saying that the term TLM, a derivative of BLM, is making a mockery of
I don't think Black Lives Matter owns Black Lives Matter. I don't think they own Lives Matter. I think you can call yourself Travelers Lives Matter because you're not calling yourself Black Lives Matter. They're not saying Black Lives Matter. They're saying Travelers Lives Matter. Completely different.
Completely different to just one word different.
One word different makes that's the whole difference to it though. That one word makes it completely different.
Or one word makes it completely different.
Like all lives matter. If I say, do you find all lives matter offensive? If I say that is that bad? Because
all lives matter. I would say all lives matter. There's a perspective that all lives matter is just to take away from Black Lives Matter.
That's the counter, but
yeah,
I fully understand that one. It did spring about for that, but a lot of respects, all lives do matter, and obviously Black Lives Matter, Travelers Lives Matter, and everyone's lives matter. And that's why I would say everyone's lives matter. And if someone wants to say Asian lives matter, I'll be fully for it. Because that's another demographic that may get a bit of abuse, and if they start using that, I'll be fully for it. Obviously, they have a lot of, and like Jewish people, if they said Jewish lives matter, because they have a lot of anti-Semitism, stuff like that. Look at Wiley, a lot of stuff he said.
Yeah,
I've already defended it back in the day, but reflecting on it, he did say a lot of bad things that is very bad. But and that's what I'm for free speech. And if you start muting people because they're apparently taken away from another movement, why can't you have two movements or cooperate to the same outcome of everyone being equal?
Earlier on in the year, when Anthony Joshua, you've got a point on this because you raised it in the chat. Earlier on in the year, when Anthony Joshua was protesting with the Black Lives Matter, Tyson Fury didn't seem too enthused about it, shall we say?
Yeah. I think Tyson Fury spot on for what he said, because if he said like only shop at travelers businesses, he'd probably be called a racist. But
well, that's an interesting point, because isn't that what he should be saying right now? Let's boycott these pubs. Shouldn't he be saying that right now? And if he did do that, then he would be saying the same thing as Anthony Joshua said, and arguably he should be saying exactly that.
What Joshua was saying, it was like shop at black businesses so white businesses don't prosper. What Joshua was promoting was segregating people, because that's saying don't shop at white businesses to make white people prosper. Saying
He never said that.
It was something along the words of that. It was saying,
well, that was your interpretation, and that was an interpretation of yeah, not just you, but other people also. Yes, yeah, that's not what I got from it.
yeah, of course, people are fully welcome to have different outlooks on what he said, and I'd like him to just clarify, like come back and clarify.
He
What
did.
he said.
He did clarify it. He did clarify it. I think I made a video on it. I'm pretty sure I made a video on it. Let me just have a look at what the chat's going on. The only people who, to me, have a problem with with BLM is okay. Okay. Well, yeah, there's lots of various different opinions. So yeah, what I'm saying is that Tyson Anthony Joshua said was inferring that black folks should invest in their own communities. And it seems to me that travelers, when black folk came to the UK, what happened is that when they were not all welcome in certain establishments and what have you, they created their own in the form of blues parties, etc., etc. Oh, in the UK, I'm sure in different countries they have different terms, but over in the UK, it was blues. You're having a blues, and that was like a club in a house. You know, somebody just moved their furniture out the way, and the blues would be at such a place, number 51 Riverside Road, on that particular Friday night or Saturday night. And then on the Friday night. Now on the Saturday night, the blues would be at number 23, Explorer Road. And then the next week there'd be another location, and then ultimately there'd be certain houses that would do it regularly. And so that was an alternative to going into town, having any problems in town, you having your own thing. And then eventually, you had your own clubs. Black folk would have their own clubs, etc., etc. Is it not the time? Travelers like to drink. Generally, they have a reputation for liking to drink. Isn't it? Is it not a time where travelers start opening up their own drinking establishments, since it appears to be it's so problematic?
I have the argument to that, Rafi. Travelers, there's not enough of them. That's the problem. There's not enough of them, simply put. When black people came over, and there's obviously lots of black people in the country, and they make up a good percentage.
Yeah.
But gypsies they don't make up that percentage. There simply is the market for 10 gypsies to come down in a pub each night. There's isn't the market for it. And that's the problem with it. It's so small.
So is there any responsibilities on the travelers for why these breweries, some breweries some establishments are turning them away? Is there any responsibility on the part of the traveler to modify their conduct in such a way that they become welcome rather than shunned?
Obviously, that's again like on an individual basis. Only you can have your actions, and you control your actions and whatever. Obviously, there's going to be the ones that cause a problem. If there's two people that fight in a pub, and one's a traveler, spoils it for everyone, I guess, isn't it? And that's usually what happens with a lot of things. And obviously, that one person can modify their actions, but it's like love is uncontrollable, really.
Did you say a lot of it is uncontrollable?
Yeah.
A lot of what?
See, the problem with it, Rafi, and I'm going to be honest with you, in traveling culture, there's a lot of fighting's obviously a big part. That's why you see so many videos on like YouTube, and that's why you get so many successful boxers,
right?
That are travelers. So it's a very very big part. And the only thing I'd say that is maybe like they should adapt and obviously change their culture. But then you're saying change the culture. That good thing, bad thing. Maybe they probably should.
But if the culture is not in keeping with the requirements and the mores of the establishments which they wish to frequent, then should the establishment change to accommodate them, or should they change to accommodate the environment they wish to be in?
I think they should. I think the establishment should accommodate different cultures and different groups, ethnic groups.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. You are now in Rome. Respond to someone saying that.
Yeah. So I suppose you just got to. I suppose it's the establishment's choice, and when it comes down to it, if the establishment's not breaking the rules, they can do what they want, really. But
I say there needs to be. I say when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So if I'm going into a pub, then surely I have a responsibility to conduct myself in a manner which is seen befitting of the environment.
But like I say, Rafi, you talk about like that incident. You're talking about there was one fight in that pub.
No. That was a fight in that pub.
Yeah. Obviously, a fight. One person, one fight. Sport it for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
not an isolated incident, though, isn't it? It can't be treated. It's not an isolated incident. It is indicative of the reason, perhaps, why these establishments decline the custom.
But is it that the customers that they have there don't want them there? Maybe.
Well, it's the fight. We know there was a fight. We know that. A fight. Not that there was only ever one fight, but a fight. Was it a fight? Was it a fight between one person and another person? Was it a fight between two people and another two people? Was it a brawl? And so the question I'm asking, and I'm not presenting it as an answer, the question I'm asking is would it be wise on the part of the traveler to understand what is expected from them as a customer?
Of course, you got to keep to the rules. You got to keep to the law when it comes to it, really. Because if you're fighting, you're breaking the law. And that person should have been arrested or whatever. And you got to keep. There's rules for everyone. Rules are there to keep everyone safe. And if you're breaking the rules, then you got to pay for it. Haven't you? You got to pay for it. You got to go do your bit, do your time, do whatever you got to do.
So is Tyson Fury being hypocritical right about now in comparison to his utterances when AJ was protesting, in your view?
Because if Tyson Fury got the same thing, because if Tyson Fury said what AJ said, it's a bit Tyson Fury saying, "Don't discriminate against my people just because of one person causes a problem. You can't discriminate against a whole race, culture, whatever you want to."
But it's not one person causing a problem, though, isn't it? That's minimizing the problem.
But Rafi, there's a lot of there's fights in pubs all the time.
That's true.
There's fights in pubs all the time. People fight. I've seen them firsthand. And it is what it is. And just because one person does something wrong, I don't think you can ban a whole race.
And you say Tyson Fury is not being hypocritical because he's not saying boycott their establishments.
I'm saying Tyson Fury is not being hypocritical because you shouldn't boycott. That's the bit that's exactly what AJ said that I got the boycott thing. That's why I said like don't shop at businesses. That's the boycott thing. But if Tyson Fury said that, he said don't shop at other businesses. That's different. All Tyson Fury is doing is saying I should be able to go into that pub just because I'm a person of the United Kingdom. I have a passport, everything. He's a full citizen. He should be able to go into that pub. And they should not allow him in just because of his race, his culture, his ethnic origin, whatever.
Michael J. White says Rafi, travelers are absolutely hated by the majority of people. Is everybody who is from England on here been living under a rock or something? Hated. Travelers are hated.
Honestly, Rafi, yeah, I can tell you this firsthand. That's what a lot of times that I don't tell people. Just the fact that you get hate, you get called a pike, you get called whatever, you get hate just because who you are. Now that is what the systemic racism is supposed to be.
Well, I mean, my position is that if anyone is in the neighborhood, if there's someone in the neighborhood who drops an empty packet of crisps, or a sweet wrapper, to me that's a problem, because they're not respecting their neighborhood, their environment.
Of course.
Now, if somebody's going on a piece of land and leaving their rubbish behind, then that is not respecting the neighborhood, is it? So therefore, the question is are there things that travelers can do to be considered more friendly to the places they're frequent? Because of course what happens is a set of travelers will visit a property, either roll in or break in, and then leave a mess behind.
Yeah,
that's one example of something which they do, which is antisocial behavior. You see, antisocial behavior is frowned upon, is it not?
It's frowned upon, but Rafi, the problem is there's not enough places these travelers. If a traveler's going to travel, where they going to travel to?
What's the excuse for not cleaning up behind themselves?
Are they getting a bin service? Is there bin men coming around?
No, hold on a second. You take your rubbish to. There are places where you take your rubbish to.
Of course, and that's a problem. But I think in the first place, travelers that if you give them a place to travel to, they're not going to cause so much of a problem because they're not going to be in the eye of the people so much.
Do travelers have a responsibility to conduct themselves in a manner which is considered to be more social rather than antisocial?
I think everyone's got that. I think everyone should do that, not just travelers. I think everyone should.
No, but we're talking about travelers right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think everyone should do it. Travelers.
Yeah, but I'm speaking specifically about travelers.
Yeah, I think travelers should do it. Yeah, I think everyone should do it. Everyone.
No, I know, but we're speaking specifically about travelers, my dear fellow.
Yeah, definitely. Then I think they should definitely do everything in their power to minimize their problematic status, I guess.
You see, everyone has a responsibility to carry themselves and conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. So if you do go on land, you have responsibility to clean up after yourself. If you go on land and you don't clean up after yourself, you're bringing a problem upon yourself. If you go into an establishment and you conduct yourself in a manner which is not befitting of the establishment, you're bringing problems upon yourself. And it leads me to the question. That's why I asked the question. Is there anything, are all the problems associated with being a traveler? Are all of those problems external to the traveler, him or herself? And I think not. I think there's things that the travelers can do which can help the way they are perceived. One thing in life is mandatory, in my view, and that's cleaning up after yourself. You don't drop rubbish. You don't drop rubbish on the floor.
No, of course not. I think you just abide by the rules. Everyone should abide by the rules. Everyone.
Yeah.
Not everyone. The rules are there to put into place to protect everyone. And of course, and that's what should happen.
Yeah. And so I was addressing Michael J. White's comment up here. You see, I'm not very good at identifying travelers. Maybe more so. Maybe I'm better now than I was in the past. But I remember I broke down once back in my early days, my youthful days, when I didn't have what do you call it, relay service. If a car went wrong, RAC. I did. It was back in my youthful days when I wouldn't be fully covered. I wouldn't make sure that any car that I drove, I had recovery cover on it. I mean, now obviously later on, as you get more experience, you realize it's cheaper just to make sure that you got breakdown cover, etc. You're covered to the hilt. That's what I do now. But in my youthful days, no, I wasn't so diligent in those areas. So I broke down in a car. I don't know. I think it was a minor thing. Maybe the battery of white van pulled up. Geezer hops out. I said, "What's going on, mate?" I said, "I'm not quite sure. I don't know. It was a battery or whatever." I can't remember what he did, but I think it was a jump start or something. Maybe the battery wasn't charging. Maybe there was something with the alternator. Yeah, I think it was that. I got it sorted out. But I got a jump start from a geezer. I didn't know it was just a white guy in a white van. Looking back, because like I said, I wasn't too clued up. But looking back, that was probably, no, I know now, that was probably a traveler. And so I don't have any intrinsic distaste for a traveler. A traveler can be a friendly person. A traveler can be a helpful person. I think that person that helped me was a traveler. So I don't have any problem with some helpful, pleasant individual, regardless of their creed. In fact, it happened to me not long ago, a few years ago again. And once again, it was someone of a different ethnic background to myself that helped me out. This time it was an Asian. So once again, I have no problem with anyone who is a pleasant individual who does not foul their environment. No problem whatsoever. What's my point here? Yeah, so because someone is from a different ethnic background doesn't necessarily make them a problem. It's not the ethnic background of the individual, it's the conduct of the person. I think that's the key point of how you perceive an individual, how I perceive an individual. James.
Of course, you perceive someone like don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Just don't judge a person on their actions, not what they look like. And of course, yeah, you just got to treat everyone the same, because no one's equal until everyone gets treated the same, really.
Say that again. Say that last bit again.
Everyone's not treated equal. No, I forgot what I said there. I said something like that, wasn't it? In the moment, I don't
know. It sounded okay.
I like to waffle on. I don't know.
It sounded okay at the time. Yeah. What's going on? I'm looking through this. This has been very active. This has been extremely active. I think I might carry on for another 10 minutes. Hit that like button. What's that?
You can see even in the chat, like Michael J. White, travelers are problematic.
Is that a false statement?
That's generalizing the whole population of travelers, saying they're problematic.
If travelers travel to sites and they habitually don't pick up and don't clean up after themselves, is that not problematic?
But then you're saying that you're generalizing. He's generalized the whole population, not just the people that done it. If you know what I mean. So
let's be frank here. The conception, the perception. I mean, I don't study travelers. I don't go to their traveler sites after they leave. But the general perception and the general word is that when they leave a mess. They leave their mess. Well, I've seen it. I've driven past traveler sites after they've gone and it don't look good.
But Rafi, you can also have, obviously they're just another, like I say, they're just a small population in the small population. You know, you got other travelers that don't travel at all. They live in sites or camps, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And they're the nicest people you'll ever speak to, honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no doubting there's good people from all background, from all areas, backgrounds.
I think, and that's what it goes to, saying like you can't just say the whole population's problematic, because it's not. You gotta say, if that statement said certain travelers are problematic, let's be honest. Perfectly fine with that, honestly, perfectly fine.
I think people's perception of I think what was going down there was that travelers who actually travel leave a mess behind themselves. I think that's the general. That's the type of traveler that people are referring to. People who travel and leave a mess behind themselves.
Yeah. And of course, they're very like there's not really that many of them left. So you're talking about like a few thousand people, really. And like, see there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of different travelers out there. There's different types. They come from different even ethnic backgrounds before that, because you obviously got the Irish, you got the Romani, people.
Yeah.
But say it's all unless you know the whole context to it. It's hard to fully understand, I guess.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Still scrolling through. What AJ said was 100% correct. Yeah, I think it's 100% correct. Black people have to invest in their communities. They have to, because the money's flying out of their community. So if the money's flying out to your community, how can you build your community? How can you build your community, James, when the money's flying out to your community, where every pound and shilling and pence you get, you're spending outside of your community? How can you build?
I just look at it as a capitalistic way. I just think if a business is doing good, it's serving a purpose, then it's a good business. If you have to especially support that business because it's not doing very well, it's not a very good business. It should be closed down.
But that doesn't really answer the question. What do you think about a group of people who would spend every penny outside of their community and expect to build their community?
I think if they're expecting it, I think you're very silly. I think obviously you got to put a pound in to get a pound back, I guess, isn't it?
So you're supporting what AJ says then, invest in your community.
Mate, yeah. Now I know if that's what he was saying, and obviously if that's what he meant by it, 100%. I like AJ. I've nothing against the bloke. I love AJ. Lovely British boxer. Hope he, does good things. Hope he fights Tyson Fury. He'll
batter him. He'll batter him.
That's what I'm saying. My two favorite boxers, honestly, favorite boxers are AJ and Tyson Fury. Obviously, I have a preference, but yeah, you got everyone has a preference. Like
everybody's got a preference. Yeah, everybody's got a preference.
No one's an innocent bystander when it comes to it. Really, as a everyone's watching a boxing match thinking, "Oh, I really don't care who wins." You've got one person you want to win.
Of course. I don't know. This thing is on heat, but I'm not gonna drag it out. I think we've said. We will have closing statements. I will have a closing statement. You will have a closing statement. I will have a closing statement. But I'm just curious to read all of these comments. Very, very interesting and stimulating debate. Thank you to the Grand Duke for saying, "Go on, Rafi, go on, do a live, Rafi, do a live, go on, do a live, Rafi."
I liked what Michael J. White said. He said they don't have an accent. This guy really isn't a traveler. He's just an off-traveler stock. He's more of a gorger, like he said. So a gorger is something that you'd call like any other kind of person.
What did you just say? What's your point? What was your?
No, I liked what he put because he called me that. He just said like I suppose it's true really. He said like this guy really isn't a traveler. Is Michael J. White a traveler? It looks like.
I don't know what the hell Michael J. White is. He said some things which have confused me.
Yeah, he sounds like a traveler.
Oh, Michael J. White, are you a traveler? Michael J. White, are you a traveler? I was just going to type similar. There ain't a race, that's why. What's this? People are seeing the black experience is being highlighted, and now idiots want to mock it. Is Tyson? What is this? Is Tyson? If Tyson were truly about equality. He should have supported AJ. That's the problem I have. That's the problem I have. Tyson Fury kind of sent subliminal shots and some direct shots at Joshua, and now he's come out complaining about what? Well, how come? Is there really so many comments I have to scroll through to get back to that? Hell of a lot of comments. This thing is on heat. Sounds like a bunch of travelers have been causing trouble and they can't regulate it. The pub can't get political procedure. Till it's time. What? The whole culture of people barred from a pub, not a race. Okay, so I'm scrolling down. Damn, this is a hot topic. Need a new car. Yo, this was that was back in the Dizzy. That was probably one of my first. No, it wasn't that far back. It was about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the first incident that I mentioned, and the last incident, I can't even remember what car I was driving. That was in the last 5 years. I can't remember what was up with that. Because I keep my things well serviced. So I really can't remember how I ended up in a predicament. The last incident. What was it? I think it was something minor. Like some dodgy attachment to the battery or something. Because I had my toolkit with me and I sorted it out. What was it? It was a dodgy battery. Pretty sure it was a dodgy battery, I think. Can't remember. I've got more. What? I've got more Irish in me. I don't know what the first statement was. What's going on? They do have an accent. This guy really isn't a traveler. He's just off travel. Oh, just off traveler stock. Okay, that's the one that you highlighted. This is what society do. This is what societies do. What the hell? It's not fair. On the flip, my experiences with travelers have not been great. But despite that, I still try to judge each people on their own merit. Okay. There's a lot of comments. Michael J. White's comeback. They call it Indo-Romani. Irish, mate. Okay, Michael J. White is Irish. I thought he was American for some strange reason. I don't know why. It's Irish, or what else have we got? They copy, twang. Okay. I finally got to the end of this shiznix. Well, obviously, it's a very hot topic. James, have your final words as we close this thing down. Anybody in here who has not smashed the like button, has not hit the subscribe button, or has not hit the share button, please kindly do so. James, your final word, please.
Yeah, my final words are obviously keep doing what you're doing, Tyson Fury. Hopefully, it might get somewhere. Probably not, but I just want people to judge people on who they are, not from where their background and culture is, what they've come from.
Okay, James Jameson. No, you're not James Jameson. You're James. One name James. Name James. I reckon it's James Muck.
It's not a Muck, mate. Muck's Irish.
Muck Muck. Oh, you're not the Irish branch. Okay, I was trying to think of Muck something. I kept on thinking of a McFlurry. And I'm sure that's not an official Irish name. So I just left it as Mac. Okay, James, much appreciated. Thank you for jumping on and sharing your perspective. Much appreciation for that. Take care See you again soon.
Will do. I say take care, everyone, and I hope everyone has a good day, good rest of the day, I guess, or there's a whole day ahead of us, I guess, isn't there?
Yeah, I hope everybody has a good tomorrow.
All right, see you, Rafi.
Take care, James. Thank you very much to James for jumping on. Much appreciation. Much appreciation. So now I guess it's time for me to. What is this? What's that? Not I want to share that. It's not that. Oh yeah, that one's a good one. Oh, come on, start from the beginning, right there. Yeah, do that. Okay, so my views on this whole shiznix. What is this? What did I just see? Let's see. Do a video on Anthony the Contradiction. Too many to count now. Raphael, you are a racist. Okay, I don't see how I'm a racist when I've started up a live show to discuss what Tyson Fury is doing and saying. I think that you, the Celtic 67 live, I think that you are the racist. You coming here with no manners at all, very ill-mannered, throwing around slurs. You, my friend, are a total and utter disgrace. And, you need to go and learn some manners. That's what you need to do. You need to go and learn some etiquette. And also, you need to listen. You need to listen to people and form intelligent responses rather than come up in somebody's live and just throw around some insults. I think that the racist is you, Mr. Celtic 67 live. Yeah, you need to go and check yourself, old boy. Go and check yourself. So yeah, so we get fools like that. It's inevitable. If he had listened, if he had taken the time out to listen to the damn show, he would have found that it was a discussion with representatives, with a representative, traveler representative. So Celtic 67 live, never seen you, never heard of you, coming here talking a lot of crapola, which nobody cares for over here, dear boy. So go and learn, get yourself some manners. Yeah, that's the best thing that you could do. Get the hell on up out of here. You always get some fools. You always get some imbeciles who want to come and mix and mingle with the good people. But that's how it go. That's how it go. Go and learn yourself some manners, kid. Go and get yourself some etiquette. Okay. So, well, yeah, so we've had a good discussion. Did I even come to my conclusion? I'll give you my conclusion. I think people have a responsibility to conduct themselves appropriately. And if you don't conduct yourself appropriately, then damn, of course, you could run into some problems. You're going into a public place. You have an obligation to conduct yourself as an adult if you're an adult. And if you an adult with some children, then you have a responsibility to regulate their behavior. Okay, so this TLM. Where is that? Let's stop sharing that and let's go over to the TLM. Where is it? Where's that? There it is. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So you got a responsibility to conduct yourself, or you may find yourself unwelcome. Conduct is essential. Good conduct is essential. TLM could have found a different name. Like, seems to me like it's the right to drink. This seems like a march for the right to drink in public establishments. Well, then surely there is a responsibility. Surely there is a responsibility to conduct oneself appropriately in such venues. Yeah. People are running a business, behave yourself. Simple as that. Discrimination and prejudice is never accepted, but yet you at the LDBC, you do that all the time. So how can an LDBC man be telling me that discrimination and prejudice is never accepted when you do that all the time? That don't make no sense whatsoever. But anyway, thanks for popping by. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comments. It's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And don't forget about the live shows. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Probably coming back on Friday. Probably coming back on Saturday. Got some live shows to be done. It's Raphael Dawkins, Combat Radio, and I'm out.